All right, good morning again, guys. We are now at class 10. I want to say 10. I've, lo- I've lost count. I'm sorry. I want to say class 10. I think we're at class 10. And today we are going to be talking about digital advertising. Um, this is one of the more technical topics that we're going to go through. It's one of the more technical topics in general when it comes to digital marketing because it involves a lot of calculations and percentages and um, trying to find rates of stuff, you know? And it also involves a lot of complicated language like cost per mil and pay per click and all these terms that we would have actually already gone through. Um, the last YouTube post is 7, but Monday's class was 8. So I think this is class 9, Christine. I think so. But I have simplified it, and because this is an introductory course, I'm not going to get like deep in it, but I think I would have covered it sufficiently for you to be able to kind of maneuver your way around the topic. I think I have. So, guys, let's jump right into it and let's talk about what is digital advertising. And I say digital advertising, guys, but what I actually mean is online advertising. And for some reason, digital advertising is stuck in my head. But it's really when we talk about digital advertising, we're really talking about online ads, running online ads. All right, I see some persons are excited about the topic. Wish I could share your enthusiasm, but I was never a fan of this particular topic. But it is an interesting topic, nonetheless. I'm working on getting a professional who actually does this for a living to come and talk to you guys on Monday about digital advertising. All right. Let's see how that works out. Okay, so let's talk about what digital advertising is. So, what it is supposed to be is a targeted, data driven strategy for reaching consumers in every stage of the buying funnel and moving them through the different stages of the buying funnel to the ultimate endpoint, which differs depending on what your brand or business goals are, what your digital objectives are. Um, but for most persons, the endpoint is converting this potential customer into this potential customer into an actual customer, right? And so, depending on again what your objectives are, what your goals are, it could be awareness building, it could be to again make a purchase, the final or ultimate step. You can use ads right through the different funnel stages to kind of push people further and further and further towards the ultimate goal. So let's look at what we mean by targeted, right? When we talk about targeted, we're talking about, and this is why it is data driven. When we're talking about targeted, what we mean, I don't know why this is happening, but let's light up all of them, shall we? When we talk about targeted, we're really talking about the data. I don't know if you guys remember the class where we actually looked at how these platforms collect your data. I think we did that in this class, or maybe confusing it with a social media class. But pretty much what happens is when you go on these, specifically these social media platforms, but to be honest, any digital platform, because when you go on websites, you're being tracked with cookies. Cookies is just a little snippet of code or data that is collected from each website that informs the people behind the website, let's say, of how you use that site. So again, I'm trying not to get into technicalities, But that's pretty much what a cookie is. So when you go on a website and you see something pop up that says accept all, and they give you a little bit of information about how they're going to use the information, blah blah blah, and you can accept all or change the settings. What they're asking you is to accept that we have tracking cookies tracking you on this website. Are you okay with that? If you're not okay with that, tell us what we can or cannot track. So based on that data, the different data collection tools collect that data and then feed you that data as the advertiser. We're going to talk about that a little later on as to how online ads work. And so because they're feeding you very, very precise data, you can now target a group or groups of persons with your ads, right? By buying funnel, what we're talking about is how the steps you would have created for your buyer or for your potential buyer. And we did look at that in a previous class when we talk about the race model and the IDA model, etc. These are funnel frameworks, right? So depending on the framework that you're using, or say you created a framework for yourself, right? Depending on the framework that you're using, what you're actually doing is you're developing uh, a, a kind of system whereby you're determining, okay, what happens when they just come across my brand? What happens after they've interacted my brand? How do I want them to interact with my brand? Where do they go after they've interacted? Or where do I want to send them after they've interacted with my brand? And what actions do I want them to take? So that's what we mean by either you'll hear terms like the buyer's journey, or the sales funnel or the buyer's funnel. It's all meaning the exact same thing, right? The stages or the anticipated or predetermined stages you want a potential customer to take when they've just come across your brand, after they've discovered your brand, after they've interacted with your brand, after they've taken a particular action, right? And then of course it depends on what your funnel, what those predetermined steps are. So it may be awareness, maybe the IDA model where it's awareness, interest, I think it's awareness, interest, action, awareness, interest, something another. Sorry, awareness, interest, desire, and action. Awareness, interest, desire, and action. That's the IDA model. Or it could be one of those other framework models. So at different points in these steps that you want your buyers to take, you're putting information in front of them to help them to take the next step. That's pretty much what digital advertising is. It's the same thing. In fact, it's what advertising is in general. But there's a massive difference between digital advertising and traditional advertising. And that massive difference is how precise the data is. With traditional advertising, let's say you want to run an ad on a TVJ. TVJ can probably tell you how many persons they anticipate will see the ad. Let's say it's a prime time ad. TVJ can probably tell you how many persons they anticipate will see the ad because they have an idea of how many persons watch prime time television or prime time news. They can probably tell you where these persons are, Westmoreland, St. Catherine, that kind of thing. They can probably tell you probably how long these persons are engaged during that period. But what they can't tell you is where they work, what they do, how much money they earn, how many kids they have, are they married, what do they do in their free time. They can't give you any of that information. But because we love to tell people our business, or well, because we love to tell platforms our business, they know everything about us. Because when you go, say for instance, you go on a social media platforms, what happens when you're signing up for a Facebook? You have to give them your full name, you have to give them your email address, them ask if you have relatives on the platform, them ask if you tell them what your interests are so they could funnel the right kind of content to your feed. They ask you give them so much information. And then on the platform, they're tracking your behavior on the platform. They know what you click on, what you watch the most, who you follow. They know all this information about you. Similarly, on the website, on websites, each website you visit, even Google search engine is collecting information about you. And so the data is probably the biggest difference between traditional marketing and digital marketing, because the data can be extremely precise, right? And of course, the other differences come in terms of access, cost, and how quickly these ads can actually take effect, and you can see kind of returns on these digital ads. You can dig into the data and find out what ads actually work, what didn't work, why they didn't work, or why did this work with this group of people, why it didn't work with this. It's amazing the amount of data you can actually get and what you can do with that data. But how 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 does a digital ad work, right? To understand how online advertising work, we have to look at the players. So there are three main players in online advertising: the user, me and you; the platform, whether it's social media, website, app; and the advertiser, which is the marketer or the business, the brand, right? So these are the three players, and let's look at what these three players do. So as the user, we are allowed to access and view content on these platforms for free. Any one of us can go on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, websites, YouTube. We can go on all these platforms and view this content for free. Now, there's a reason why it's free. There's a saying that goes, if it's free, then you're the product. And it's kind of true in this case, because you are exchanging, in order to be able to access those platforms for free. The understanding is, whether the understanding is like you're conscious or unconscious, you are exchanging information, personal information, and your attention. That's the exchange. I access this platform for free, I give you my information and my attention. So really, what is happening on these platforms is, the more viewers they have, the more users they have, is the more information they can collect, and the more attention they can give to a particular advertiser or brand or whatever, right? So in this graph, we talk about people use search engines, but it's not just search engines. It's social media, it's just websites in general. We use the internet in general, right? Let's look at the second player, which is, sorry, it's supposed to be, the platform is the second player, right? To keep these platforms free, users' information is collected and used to create audience segments who can be targeted with ads. This data is then sold to advertisers, right? So you, the user, get on this platform, can use it for free, can view content for free. In exchange, you give them your information, attention. They collect this information and they create audience segments from this data, and turn that into analytics and insights that they then sell to an advertiser, who can take those analytics, insight, and audience segments and target us again. Okay? So if we go back, the advertiser bid for that audience data, which they then use to better target and retarget people who may be interested in their products or service. So you guys see how that works. User get access to the platform in exchange for giving the platform personal information and their attention. Platform collates that information, uses algorithms to track you, to understand your behavior, all of that. Gather that data, analyze that data, turn that into insights and trends that they then sell to advertisers who can take that the insights and the trends data and turn that into audiences that they can then target. So it's coming right back around to us. We are the product. That's what that means, right? Because they're really targeting us. But this is the trip. We allow ourselves to be targeted because we want access to these platforms, right? So you may find that you go on one website, you leave the website, and then little later on, you see something pop up on somewhere else completely different from that website. And you're going, oh my God, they're listening to me. They're not listening to you, they're tracking you. But we're going to talk about that later on. Well, technically, they're kind of listening, but not in the way you think. But we're going to talk about that later on. Let's talk about types of online. Guys, did you just understand that, by the way? Did you just understand what I just said? Yes. Okay, great. Good. I want to make sure that you guys are keeping up because I know it's technical. Okay. Let's talk about types of advertising. The first type of advertising we're going to talk about, and there are several different types of advertisement. Let's look at some of the main ones. So the first one is social media ads. And by types of online advertising, I mean types of online ads. So these are ads that appear, of course, on social platforms, and they can be a mix of in-feed or store posts in a variety of formats. So we have the image-based ad. This one is from Twitter. With Twitter, usually at the bottom you'll see where it says promoted. So you know it's an ad. So you have the image-based ad. Then you have the video-based ad, which has become very popular between 2020 and 2022. Video has really dominated social media space, so much so that some platforms have really now embraced video, like Instagram have really embraced video marketing and just video content in general. And which is why platforms like TikTok, oh, go back, which is why platforms like TikTok have been able to um, like reach astronomical numbers in terms of viewers. But even platforms like LinkedIn, because this is a LinkedIn ad, guys. Even I have noticed that LinkedIn now has more video ads than image based ads, and that was not the case before. So even platforms like LinkedIn, they're now embracing more video ads. They can Ads can also be native posts, and by native posts we mean, okay, so this ad is a message ad. So this one is from, I got this from my Facebook Messenger app. I keep getting ads like this in my Facebook Messenger ad. So this is a ad that comes through the platform's messenger app, right? Not a lot of platforms has its own messenger app, but certainly Facebook does, and they make pretty good use of it. There's all sorts of ads in there. In fact, you as a small brand or business can create a chat bot for your Facebook Messenger, where you can run ads in it, and you can create a funnel through your Facebook Messenger using that chat bot or bots. But by native posts, this is a story-based post as well. So yeah, it can be in your feed, but when you hear somebody says in feed, it just means you post it to your feed. That's all that means. Or you know what story posts are. A lot of platforms have discontinued story posts. LinkedIn started out with a story. LinkedIn had a story post, they discontinued it. Twitter had a story post, they discontinued it. And I kind of have my own thoughts as to why LinkedIn and Twitter discontinued story posts. Is because it wasn't necessary. it was doing too much for those platforms, and those platforms were trying to be too much like social media platforms, where they're technically social media platforms, especially LinkedIn, but not really. It's a different crowd altogether, and it just wasn't it just never caught on for the crowd. Because if you look at a platform like Twitter, that is really a text based social platform, why would you need a story post? Because you kind of text it out, you know what I mean? um Unlike Instagram, where you need a story post because you can't necessarily text out content on Instagram. You have to post a video or an image or something and then a caption. But with Twitter, you don't need all of that. You can just literally just text something out. So story post add that element where you can have like a direct dialogue kind of element that is necessary for platforms like Facebook and Instagram, because there's no direct dialogue element on those platforms, if you understand what I'm saying. But with LinkedIn, in fact, I disagree with myself. Facebook probably don't need a stories. And I think Facebook really only has stories because Instagram have stories, and you can share your story from Instagram to Facebook. So it's kind of their ecosystem. But with platforms where you can directly dialogue on the as a feature or a function, you don't need a stories post. I hope that makes sense. I think I rambled there a little bit. But anyways, let's talk about native posts. Now, native posts don't look like ads. You will come across a native post and probably don't realize that you are being sold something. So native ads are like paid partnerships or influencer ads or boosted posts, right? It doesn't say ad there. If I was to look at it, I would not know that it's an ad, except for the paid partnership that shows up here, right? Which has now become a rule of these platforms, that if you're promoting something, you need to say that, right? So Instagram now has this paid partnership kind of thing there. But unless an influencer actually use this function, you don't know that you're being sold something too. Similarly with a boosted post, nobody knows that you would have boosted the post, right? So native posts look native to the platform. They look like a regular post. You would not really know unless you have some kind of objective eye that you're being sold to, right? So these are just different types of social media posts. Then we have social media ads. Then we have search engine ads. So search engine ads are is when search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo allow advertisers to jump to the top of the search engine results page or the SERP page with paid ads. So what you're essentially doing is you're out as an advertiser, you are outbidding other advertisers to get to the top of that page. And what do I mean by outbidding? Remember when we talked about, and when Sheldon Harrison, who presented last week, talked about how social search engines kind of work, and he talked about keywords, because based on the search term and the keywords used in that search term, that's how you are ranked in the search engine results page. So if I search for pizza restaurants, depending on the search term pizza restaurants, the keywords pizza restaurant, is how it is going to rank the results that I get back, right? And so, as an advertiser, what I want to ensure is that when you search pizza restaurant, my restaurant pops up. But I can't necessarily, the only way I can guarantee that is by paying for an ad. But sometimes you'll notice that there are multiple ads. Like when you type in something, there's several ads that will pop up. Who determines which ad is at the top of that list? Google does. The search engine does. And that's based on the bidding that happens behind the scenes. I'm not going to get into it because it's highly technical and not even Google can explain it properly. So let's just say That, say for instance, there's a keyword that's lucrative, that keyword is going to be more expensive. So if you're putting in an ad for that keyword, or you're bidding for that keyword, long story short, you better have your dirty money, because the person with the bigger purse that has the most money to spend will always get preference over you, right? And that's why Sheldon was talking about you using more long tail keywords, and using like keywords that are not as popular so you can compete. That's what he meant. Because if a keyword is popular, like pizza, pizza is a very popular keyword, then the Pizza Hut, who have more money than you, who make homemade pizza, can definitely outbid you for that keyword. You know what I mean? So that's how Google ranks. Google also ranks for quality and all that good stuff. But if you pay them well enough, let's just be real, you know? So our search engine ads, uh, display ads, sometimes called banner ads because of how they appear on a website. They can appear on the top, bottom, sides, and even the middle of the content on a page. And guys, you know which website I'm going to show you, right? The Observer, even the Gleaner. Our news sites, in my observation, have the most banner ads of any website I've ever seen. That is not a scamming website. And I want to explain that, because when I rag on websites and I, talk about websites, it can come across as harsh. But this is one of the reasons why I don't think we're doing website marketing correctly, because of how we treat with some of these things like ads. Now, if you're trying to create a particular user experience, and if I should jump on your website, let's go to the Observer's website. So I'm wanting to read the news. That's why I came on the Observer's website. They're probably the number one news source. Not number one. It's a national paper. The Observer, the Gleaner, etc. Okay, the ads are gone today. I don't know if it's a time of the day kind of thing. Maybe it's a time of the day kind of thing. And I will admit that the first of all, this Observer website is new. In terms of, this is not how the Observer looked before. So the website has gotten a dramatic overhaul apparently. But I'm not seeing any other ads today. But this image that I would have shown you guys just now was taken yesterday afternoon. And as you can see, there's always been flow ads on Observer's website. Then they have the hardware number, and that one was a flashing one. It kept changing colors or changing stuff. It was flashing. And then you had the other little Walker's Wood one in that was also flashing. And then these two ads on the side actually change images. So imagine you're going on a website to read to review the news or whatever, and you just have flashing things all over the different website. And before they overhaul the website, there were way more. Let's look at something. There were way more ads on the site. I wanna see something. So usually when you would go on the Observer site, in between these texts would be ads. So somebody got through to them apparently, and we're like, guys, stop it, because it is not as bad anymore. And down here you would have ads for some fake sites, some scamish looking sites, and some sites where if you click on them, your security on your website start beeping and going crazy. Right? So clearly the Observer has gotten a good overhaul, and I'm happy for that. But back to display or banner ads, this is what we mean. So it can appear on the side, the bottom, the top, or even the middle of content on pages, right? So kudos to Observer. They've stopped. So those are banner ads. But you can also have banner ads appear on other sites, not just websites. You can have banner ads on apps. And this is a banner ad from YouTube. So YouTube, you can now have banner ads on YouTube, but they're less of that banner shape, and they just look like images on the platform. And if you're not looking carefully, sometimes you accidentally click on it thinking it's a piece of content or video content, but it's not video content, because if you hover over it, nothing will happen. But you do have some ads that are video, but we're gonna talk about that. Where you hover over them, they play anyway, just like a native piece of content would on YouTube's platform. So this is just another form of banner ad, but this is like on an app like YouTube, because I saw this on my YouTube app, right? Now, people when people talk about ads, and I separate video ads from ads, they're going, but you just said you had video ads on social media, right? But video ads are in a special category because of how prolific they are, how many places they can appear, and it kind of reinforced how impactful video ads can be. So, because we moved away from print ads, ads in magazines or paper, to now being able to directly communicate with the viewer, with the user, right? So, video ads are technically display ads, but with a video component to them. So, they're usually placed before, during, or after a video stream on the internet. And what do I mean? I want Google to explain to you video ads, because pretty much everybody has been interrupted while you're watching a YouTube video. You've been interrupted multiple times while watching your YouTube video. However, I have a little device called a Google Chromecast. It's a little device that you plug in a TV, and it's supposed to make your TV smart if your TV is not already smart. And what I've been noticing that has been happening is that when I watch a YouTube video, usually before I wouldn't get the ads if I watch it through my Chrome tab on my TV. Now, if I hear Yard and Road one more time, because that ad keeps playing over and over, Flow Yard and Road, over and over and over again on my TV. These are what you call in-stream video ads, right? So you have the in-stream video ads that plays on streaming devices, such as YouTube. Now Netflix is saying that they're gonna have ads. Disney and other people are contemplating ads or have had ads before. So it's not a new thing, right? But as powerful as video ads are, they can also be very, very disruptive. And so I found that Google has started to do a funny little thing on YouTube, where the display ads can also be video. So if you're a music artist, and this is where I've seen it happen the most, you're a music artist, you have a new song come out and you want to push it. What you'll do is post the video like you usually post the video, and then run an ad on the video. And so you're scrolling through and you're seeing this video, you're thinking it's a music video, and you're clicking on it, not realizing that it is actually an ad. That can be very effective, because if you think about how these ads operate, where it's a pay per click, which means that it's only when somebody clicks on the ad that you actually pay, right? That is how you can properly determine how effective these ads are. Again, I'm not gonna get into the technicalities of it, but let's have Google explain it to you guys. I'm hoping you can hear clearly.
which receive With Google Ads, you can choose different video ad formats and campaign settings for different marketing goals. These video ads appear across the web and on YouTube, which receive visits by more than 2 billion users. Targeting specific topics, keywords, and demographics help you hone in on your audience while they watch their favorite videos. Identify your marketing objectives before creating your video campaign. The marketing goals you select as you create your campaign will act as your campaign goals. If your goal is leads or website traffic, your campaign will drive clicks and relevant conversations. If your goal is product and brand consideration, your campaign will drive interactions and engagements or help you promote products. If your goal is brand awareness and reach, your campaign will reach viewers on YouTube and across the web who are interested in your brand and product story. You can select a single ad format or multiple ad formats depending on your marketing goals. You'll need to create an ad group for each format. Some formats serve more than one. Some format ad group for each.
I want to pause here because I want you to look at the different ways that you can actually run ads on Google. This is not just YouTube, but on Google. So you have skippable in-stream video ads, and these are where you see it counts down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it says skip ad. Then you have the bumper ad, which shows up like at the bottom of the screen. Then you have the non-skippable in-stream, and that's the one that AliExpress uses all the time. That one. You can't skip it. You just have to make it run its course. Then you have the outstream ones, where these are the ones I was just talking about, where they show up in your feed and look native. They look like they are part of the regular content on the platform. And then you have the one that is called ad sequence. Now, I'm not familiar with that one, but I think it's where you have multiple formats on the one platform and you can choose the multiple formats. Now, Google has made it so that you can choose which one of these video ads you kind of want to run based on, as the lady says, the objectives that you are setting for yourself in terms of your campaign, right? So I just wanted to give you that snippet to kind of show you how Google works. Somebody says sometimes you be watching kid cartoons and get ads for sex games. Okay, glad you brought that up, because Google has changed that. Now, when you are posting a piece of content on Google, you have to tell Google whether or not that piece of content is for kids or not for kids. Because YouTube now has YouTube Kids, where content for kids are pushed to that platform. There are no ads on that platform. You cannot run an ad on Google Kids, right? But if you say that the content you are publishing on the platform is not for kids, you can run ads on the regular YouTube platform, but not on YouTube for kids, right? So there's that. Right. So somebody says, I'm watching something and then all of a sudden a rap song starts to play. Yes. All right then. So that's kind of how Google video ads work. And Google is probably, first of all, Google is the biggest online advertiser. Let's just put that out there. They're the biggest online advertiser there is, outside of probably like Facebook. They're the biggest online advertiser in the world. And so they have they have a very technical, highly sophisticated ad machinery. All right. All right. So let's move on to email promotional ads, because this is not something I think we talk about enough, right? So with email promotional ads, these are ads that appear. Email promotional ads can work two ways. Either the ads that appear in your inbox, usually by consent, because you would have interacted with the brand. So remember, we talked about when you leave stuff in your basket, or whether you go on their website and sign up for something. That's what I mean by interaction. An email can also be unsolicited, whereby clearly I can't spell, whereby advertisers purchase, people can purchase your information, your email information, yes, or otherwise source your email addresses to send marketing or promotional message. So here's a snapshot of my inbox. And you're gonna notice something. Windsor is a brand I would have interacted before. I bought a graduation dress for my sister from Windsor. Not sure what John D is, but I'm sure it's something I would have interacted before. But notice you have in your email inbox something that says add. What does that remind you of? What does this add indicator in the email remind you guys of? Christina says SERP, search engine results page. Google search engine results page paid ads, right? No, that's very fascinating. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. We're going to talk about the Google Display Network. And it will make sense why these types of ads are showing up in your feed. So apart from the solicited and unsolicited ads, you can also get ads in solicited ads that are unsolicited, and I explain. Sorry, solicited emails but unsolicited ads. So say for instance I sign up to a newsletter, and in the newsletter there's an ad in the newsletter. I signed up for the newsletter, I didn't necessarily sign up to be receiving ads, but you can put ads in your newsletter as well. So that's another way that the email ads work. But let's talk about the Google Display Network, right? So there's a variety of ways that Google allows you as an advertiser to be able to target your audience depending on where they are, right? And what they've used is Google has a lot of digital property. YouTube, search engines, maps, shopping, all sorts of different platforms Google have created with that they call Google properties. But Google has also partnered with other platforms as well to further expand how far they can reach. And Google can reach far, which is why they're one of the largest advertisers, right? But there are two main categories that make up, there are two sides to the Google Display Network. And these are the two main network categories. So first you have the Google Search Network, which includes platforms such as the search engine, the Google search engine results page, Google Maps, and Google Shopping. So it's called the Search Network because you as the user, you're going to the platform and you are actually searching for something. So in this way, it's inbound, in that when these ads appear before me, it's because I would have been searching for a specific good or service. Or I was searching for something, and because of the keywords I use and the search term I use, that's why I am seeing these ads. So that's the Google Search Network, right? So you search for where can I buy air fryers, and you're gonna see Amazon pop up. And the only reason why this ad is here is because I would have typed in air fryers buy, which means this is, Google interprets this as a transactional query because I use the word buy and then an item, right? And if you notice here, there's a rating score here. So if I was trying to find, say for instance, I only wanted results from stores that have gotten 4.5 stars and up, I could tell Google that as well. I could also search based on hours, when the stores open or not open. So this is what I mean by a transactional query, right? And this is how Google interprets it. So you'll find that these kind of ads pop up based on the type of query, the search terms, and the keywords that I use. So I would have gone looking for this information, which is why it's inbound. I went looking for the information. But then you have the Google display networks that includes platforms such as YouTube, Blogger, and Gmail. Remember that Gmail is a Google property. And so if I as an advertiser is um bidding for ads on Google, Google is going to send those ads out to their own properties. And so that's why you're getting these ads in your Gmail that you cannot get rid of, because it's a part of the Google network, the Google display network. And the display network, it just means that they're showing you ads before you even search for the ads, okay? Because of how I would have previously interacted with a website. And we're going to talk about how they clock your behavior on right across the internet, right? So display ads are mostly outbound because they appear before I even search for it. And they're display ads because, again, they're showing you something, literally a display ad. So display ads are usually have a heavy visual or multimedia component. So video or image, hence display, right? So this is another ad that appeared on my YouTube app, and this is a display ad on YouTube, by image one on YouTube. Um, I don't remember searching for a management development program, but I have been doing a lot of searches because right now I am developing a website for a client, and the website is a business support service. And they were and I was Googling because I was helping them develop some copy for the site. And because they're business support, they talk a lot about operations management, development, blah blah blah. So I was searching that on YouTube to kind of get definitions as to what this thing means so I could develop the copy. And all of a sudden these start appearing on my YouTube and on my other pages, right? Even on Instagram I start seeing these ads, right? um I also want to look at, where is it? Hold on, guys. Give me 1 minute. I think may have missed. Okay, no, I've not missed it yet. Okay, guys, let's look at digital. Are there any questions before we move on to digital ad strategy? Any questions so far, guys, before we move on to ad strategy? Cheers. And I spilled something on it. I think it's bleach this morning. Okay, so I see some raised hands. No, there's no raised hands. I see somebody says yes, there's a question. Do you want to jump on and ask your question? I wait for your recording. Okay. People want to be sold to without feeling like they're being sold to. People are very weird. We're very, that's what I said. A lot of marketing advertising is emotional. People want to be sold to, but they don't want you to tell them what to do. It's very strange. So you have to be careful. That's what I'm saying. It comes right back to your audience, and understanding your audience and how they interact and how they want to be interacted with. Because if you understand that, you won't run into certain problems. Hi, Sandra. Good morning. Sandra. Sandra.
Apologies. Can you hear me? I'm echoing.
Okay, Sandra, I think you're on multiple devices or something is happening because it's all right. So when you sort that out, we will get back to you. All right, guys, let's continue. Let's continue. All right, guys. So let's look at how do you develop an online ads strategy. Let's start with that. All right. First off, I'm going to say certain things that you would have heard me say a bajillion times before, but it bears repeating. Just going online and trying a thing or doing a little thing does not work um, at all. You may find a little bit of success here or there, but it won't be steady, it won't be constant, and you'll find that you are hindering or limiting your own growth. So, guys, you must treat your businesses, if and of course I'm talking to persons who have brands and businesses, even if the business is you're a personal brand, or you're selling something, product or service, you must treat it as a proper business. And with a proper business, with a proper structure, you're gonna have goals that you want to achieve for this business. And based off those goals, you're then going to take those goals and define your digital objectives. Why am I pursuing this avenue for marketing? Why am I using these channels to market myself? Why am I creating a website? Why do I need an app? Why do I need two or three social media platforms? Why am I doing any of this? What am I trying to achieve by doing this? Then, most importantly, you're going to match your audience with the product or service. And what do I mean by this? I mean that the product or service you have created must have been for a particular person or persons. You're solving a problem for them, you're making their lives easier, you're providing some kind of entertainment or education or comfort to this audience, and that is why they will engage, interact with your content. Sorry, with your product or service, right? And so you have to ensure, and if you are a brand that have multiple products, understand that not every product is for the exact same audience. You may have multiple audiences, right? And so you have to make sure, like, look at a brand like, you guys know the brand Ragu. I don't know if the brand is called Ragu, but I know the type of sauce they make is called Ragu. But they have over like 5 varieties of Ragu. Ragu with oregano, Ragu with basil, Ragu also. And there was a fascinating TED talk I saw, and they were explaining how this one gentleman that they got, he wasn't a marketer or anything. I forgot what his title was, but he's kind of the person that you're calling when your products are not doing well. If you're in the food retail market and your products are not doing well, he's the man you're calling to evaluate and kind of figure out why your audience, your market is not responding to your product. He's the guy that Pizza Hut used. He was the one who told them to put the cheese in the crust. That guy. So I'm gonna find that clip and I'm gonna share that clip in the thing. But long and short of what that guy's story is that you need to make sure that you're matching each product or service with the right audience who will already be receptive to hearing what you have to say about this thing and consider your product or service, right? The next thing is you must choose the right channel and the right ad type. Are you going to advertise on social media? Are you going to advertise on Google? If so, where are you going to advertise? Are you going to advertise on YouTube? Are you going to advertise on Instagram? Are you going to advertise on Twitter? Depending on the channel you choose, you may be limited in the type of ad that you can run, especially social media. And you're also taking into account how these platforms run their ads. I'll give you an example. On Twitter, you can run an ad for an app, and your call to action can be download now, right? You cannot run an ad like that on Instagram or on Facebook. You can run an ad on that like that on YouTube. So knowing what you are promoting, understanding what that thing is you're promoting, matching that to your audience, figuring out where your audience is, and choosing the right type of ad, you can't go wrong, right? Because what you're doing is you're increasing the likelihood that you're going to reach the right people. Importantly, before you even think about ads, you have to figure out how much money do I want to spend on the ads. And this goes back to business goals and your objectives. How much money do I want to spend on? And then later on, when we're talking about developing an ads budget, we're going to talk about some of the things that you need to consider when making that determination, right? Now that you understand, now that you've matched the product or service with the audience, you need to talk to that audience in a way where it doesn't seem like you're marketing it to the world, but you're marketing it to them specifically. And we were having a conversation, and I think it was last class, and we were talking and with the JCF on Monday, and he was talking about, like, for basically those who get it, those who don't. That's kind of what we mean when we talk about personalization. If you come across a piece of ad and you're like, why is this showing up on my screen? It wasn't for you. It wasn't for you, and they miscalculated their audience. But if you come across a piece of ad and you're going, say, a long time me I try to find, or this looks interesting, or, oh, I like this, then that ad was meant for you. So personalization is talking about the language, the tone, how the message is worded, right? And what that can conjure up and convey to the viewer. So if I feel like you are talking specifically to me, I'll give you an example. If I am on YouTube and an ad for eczema treatment pops up, I'm going to watch the ad because I suffer with eczema. And so I'm going to watch that ad, right? Because that's relevant to me. I am somebody who is actively looking for, even if I'm not actively looking for eczema treatment, because I know that that's a problem I have right now. And it's a problem that, although I haven't taken any significant steps to address, I would like to address. That ad makes sense to me. I am a tech junkie. I have a serious problem with apps and stuff. I have too much of them. Yet still, if I'm watching a YouTube video and my video gets interrupted and it's an ad about a new app, some kind of tech app, marketing app, something, that video is going to get a longer runtime. I may not skip it necessarily. I may watch it a little and go, oh, this is interesting, bookmark it in my head, or click the link in my head and go back to watch it. Sorry, click the link, open it in my browser and go back to watching what I was watching, and then later on go check it out. Because I have an interest in this thing, because this thing resonates with me that way, right? So in that way, the messages are personalized. Then you must choose the right call to action. That's what CTA means, call to action. What do you want them to do? Download, install, click link, sign up, learn more, buy now? What do you want them? So I've seen your ad. I am interested in this app. It looks cool. What now? Download. Or I want this cream. What do I do? Click the link. Where the link take me? To the Amazon store. So I can put it in my basket and boom, boom, boom. Bob's your uncle. Done. 2 minutes or less in my basket on its way to me. Right? So you need to ensure that you're using the right call to action to persuade somebody to follow up. So after seeing your ad, to take this action after I would have seen the ad, right? And then the next one is make sure that the page you're sending them to can convert. And what do I mean? If you were paying attention to the video ad I played earlier when we were talking about types of ad, I was showing you the LinkedIn ad, you would have seen that when I clicked on the ad, it took me to a landing page. That landing page is actually meant to convert me, because the landing page is giving me more information, telling me about the benefits, telling me how much it costs, telling me if there's a time limit, telling me it's supposed to give me more information that will make me want to say, okay, take my money, right? Some of us don't take that step in developing a high converting landing page, and we can have a conversation about what we mean by high converting landing page, because there are best practices out there about what a high converting landing page should be. But what it is a page that is visually pleasing, that has information, that is not long and windy and all over the place, well structured, strong CTA, further pushing me to take an action. So if you're going to send them to somewhere with your ad, make sure that the way you're sending them to proper and fix up and look good. First, I say, if you're sending me to a website where janky and look terrible, I'm going to think you're scamming me. And you're not going to get me to take no action. All right? And the last one is define your retargeting or your re-engagement plan. So what if they go down the rabbit hole, which is your funnel, and they get to a certain point and then they go, nah, not right now. What do you do then? It's like they go to your store, put stuff in your basket, and then leaves. What do you do then? You retarget. You retarget them, or you re-engage them depending on where your ads are or what platforms you're using. You retarget and you re-engage them, right? And so you have to develop a plan around how you're going to do that. Guys, let me just say that your ad strategy should be supplemented by organic strategies that you're using on these other platforms. You can't just run ads all the time, because then it's gonna start look gimmicky and salesy and you know. So you have to make sure that you're supplementing this strategy with organic promotional activities. So whether that's content marketing, social media marketing, website marketing, email marketing, there are other things that you are doing outside of just running ads that are also pulling people in, okay? Another part of developing your strategy is understanding how you are targeting the people you're targeting, or the ways in which you're going to target them. So let's look at the first one, demographic targeting. So demographic targeting are where ads are targeted to a specific group of potential customers. So we're using demographic information like age, gender, status, income. We're using information like that to determine how likely these people are to engage with your product or service, right? Say, for instance, you have a store. Your store is located in a particular area. You want to target people who live in a 5-mile radius, let's say, of that area, who drive, who make a certain amount of money. Because say, for instance, you're a high-end luxury store. You want them to be able to get to you, and then when they get to you, you want them to be able to afford you, right? And so you're using demographic information like that to target these people, right? So with Facebook, this is some of the demographic information you can get. So when an advertiser wants to reach bike enthusiasts, they're giving information. So they're telling Facebook that they want to reach people between the ages of 18 to 35, has to be a woman within 20 miles of the store, interested in bicycling, and have to be a mobile user. So these are some of this information is demographic, like age, gender, and one of the information is location within 20 miles. Then you have interest based bicycling, and then the fact that they're a mobile user. And this is what Facebook show me, a user. So this user is 30 years old. She's female. She's in a particular area. She's interested in bicycling, movies, and cooking. And she uses iPhone. She's an iPhone user, gamer, and car shopper. So you see where the audience correlation is, right? And so this is kind of how Facebook takes the information put the information you input into Facebook to help you find your target audience using some demographic information, right? And this is why demographic information is also important. If this lady was a 12-year-old who loved bicycling, 12-year-olds don't earn enough money to be able to buy their own bicycles, right? So what you're doing here is you're using age as a factor in determining the potential of that customer. Behavioral targeting. Now, ads are targets the person based on how they behave online, their online activities. And this information includes where have I visited before, the links that I've clicked on, or what I have previously searched for on a search engine, right? So let's, for instance, say a person visits a website, searches or starts shopping, put stuff in the basket, right? As a brand or business, you identify her browser along with inferences about their interests by placing small text files, these are the cookies, on their computer. These small text files are collecting information, yeah? Now, you include a person's browser in an audience segment based on those interests. So that little text file, that little code of information that is telling you that, hey, she went to this website and she looked at this and she spent a long time viewing this particular section of the website. And based on what's on that particular section of the website, these cookies are sending information back and telling you that we think she likes this, yeah? Then the advertiser buys that information from Google or Bing or Yahoo, whichever search engine you're using, and then show the person an ad later that might be interesting to them. So you are Paris Hotel, and Paris Hotel buys that information from Google, and next thing you know, you're browsing on Facebook all unconcerned, minding your own business, and boom, Paris Hotel pop up on your screen. And you're wondering, how did they do that? I was just looking for hotels in Paris. Because they were tracking you. They were tracking you using tracking tools like cookies. Okay? Also, if you have, I have Google Assistant. If you have Alexa or one of those other in-home assistants, how do these assistants operate? By listening for your voice. They're also listening to hear what you are saying. And that's another way that information data is collected. They're not necessarily spying, but you gave them permission to listen to you when you turn them on. And so they're collecting information that is being fed back, especially if you never went into your settings and tell Google so they cannot collect no information from you. If you didn't do that, They're collecting away. Okay? So it's not no sinister thing where they're spying on you. No, you gave these apps permission. It's the same thing when you turn on your geotag. When you turn on your geographic location, they're following you. And this is why Google knows that you visited this restaurant, and the next time you're on Google, it pops up and they're asking if you want to review the restaurant. You're like, how did you know? Because your location was turned on and they know where you are. I have gone to places and I've seen it popped up where Google is asking me if I want to review this place, or Google can actually, if you go into your Google, I don't remember if it's Google Maps, but Google can actually tell you the exact places you have been in that week. You can literally map your entire life using Google, because Google knows everywhere you've been if you've turned your location on, right? Contextual targeting. Now, with contextual targeting, content on specific pages is used to determine the theme. And this is kind of like behavioral targeting, in that the only difference is that they're looking at the content you are viewing. And this is a lot of what social media does, especially Instagram and Facebook. They're looking at the kind of content you're viewing and then going, the machine learning is telling them that I think she likes these kind of things, because these are the people she follow, behavioral. These are the kind of content that she kind of watch a lot. And so what has been happening to me is that my YouTube is overrun with true crime, because I tend to follow a lot of true crime and I watch a lot of true crime. So there are three main themes going on my YouTube now: true crime, Chinese people cooking, and people cleaning things. Because these are the kind of things I watch a lot. Oh, and 80s, 90s cartoons. Because these are the things, and anime. 5. These are the things that pops up on my YouTube without fail. Because this is the content I have been interacting and engaging with. And so YouTube go, I think she likes this, so let me keep recommending these things to her. Similar with Instagram. Instagram look at patterns of behavior, content you've been interacting, engaging with, followers, people you followed, that kind of thing. And then they try to match that with content and then push that content to you. So that's the same. That's just what contextual marketing, matching ads based on what they think you want to see, because of what you have been doing on these platforms, right? So they also use things like keywords and topics, language and location and stuff like that to kind of better target you with that kind of content as well. So what happens? You go on a legal consulting firm's website, then next thing you know, maybe you were searching for legal consulting firms. You clicked on a particular site. You probably did not take an action, and then that site, next thing you know, you're getting content about legal and consultations and stuff like that popping up on your YouTube, right? So Google probably determined that this is content that you'd be interested in based on what you would have searched there and the keywords and terms that you use. And they say, okay, let's give her what she wants to see. Because remember, the goal is to keep you on the platform longer so they can sell more things to you, right? So if they give you what they think you want to see, you will stay on the platforms longer and know them can put more ads in front of you. So retargeting is a type of behavioral ad as well that is only shown to persons who have previously interacted with your site, profile, or page, but they took no action. We talked about that earlier, right? So went on your page, scrolled through your blog, probably read some of your blog, didn't sign up for your newsletter, right? So what you want to do is, clearly I have some level of interest right? You can also determine that by how long I would have stayed on your site, how many times I visited your site, stuff like that. How many times I've visited your profile, maybe I like some of your content, maybe I followed or didn't follow you. You can retarget me with ads based on that, because what that would have indicated to the tool or to the platform collecting that ad is that I may be interested in this, but I may not be ready to make a decision. And so you're going to retarget me to kind of force a decision or to help me make that decision, right? So with this one, this one is they went on Bluehost. So it says web page revisiting. So they went on Bluehost, which is a website hosting platform. Next thing they know, they're on YouTube, you're on Yahoo minding their business when boops up pop an ad for Bluehost. That's how retargeting works. So they went on the Bluehost, they took no action, they didn't do anything, they didn't sign up for anything. Next thing you know, Bluehost has an ad and notice the CTA get started. Okay, you didn't get started over on our site. Maybe you want to get started now. The CTA is extremely important. And sometimes you'll see that they have the ads that you see after you'd have visited a page or something, they're always discount based, like get 70% off if you start now, right? So it's that type of ad, and that is how they're kind of pushing you to make a decision, right? You guys are you guys keeping up so far? All right, you're keeping up and you're relating to the Google tracking. Is there a podcast for these sessions instead of YouTube? I'm not sure a podcast for you. If you mean for this digital marketing class, no, but you can turn on YouTube and close your eyes. Yeah, so you guys are keeping up. Okay. Um, you're streaming on the road too much data. Okay. Okay. But you know, if you were streaming a podcast, you use up more data unless you download the podcast before you left home. Mario, have a question? You need the other road. Oh my God, that commercial has traumatized me. Amario, have a question. So let me see what question Amario has. Amario, go ahead.
Good morning, guys.
Good
It's just
morning.
it's just a short question. Statement per se. You passed the topic already. With basically the odds not spying on us. And there's thousands of lawsuits around the world that have been successful. It's not a case where that the odds are actually spying on you. I think they're over exercising their boundaries. Like for example, like when you just got the phone and it tell us say Google can assist you with phone calls. So you say, hey Google, call my girlfriend or call my wife. And it assists with having that done for you. Like instead of just doing that, it's been proven that they're listening on other information for their well-being, as you said, for advertisement. So I think they say they're gonna change it with their new update to make it as more friendly because
Transparent.
that's a word. Yeah, because I work in the telemarketing field, and trust me, customers are freaked and crazy about this. As soon as they hear like Siri just come up the blue and then they say, "Hey Siri," a world at end. Trust me, like on security and stuff. So
We don't realize how much data we are actually giving these platforms.
that's
Now,
true.
I am a willing giver of my data to Google for several reasons. I am very much invested in the Google ecosystem because it has worked for me. I use Google Assistant as my literal assistant. And so at 6 o'clock every morning, my Google Assistant wakes me up and says it's time to exercise. Do I get up and exercise? That's a different story. But it wakes me up every morning at 6 o'clock and say, Kadia, it's time to get up, get exercise, get moving. And then I promptly switch it off and go to sleep. But then at 7 o'clock, it wakes me up and gives me all the news that it can find. So I get news from Gleaner, Observer, also CNN, BBC. Literally, I tell it which news I want to hear, and it reads the news to me, or it plays clips from the news to me. That's just one of the reasons why I like Google. The next reason why I like Google is because all my devices are connected. My desktop is connected to my phone, it's connected to my laptop. And so I can work from anywhere. I can access my desktop through my phone from anywhere through Google. I have a piece of content I created on my desktop, whether I use PowerPoint or Canva. I prefer to use Canva desktop. Download that content to my desktop, upload it to Google Drive, and I can access that content anywhere. So I like the Google ecosystem because it works for me. It's just as how people like the Apple ecosystem because it works for them. But there's something that you are giving up in order to get that level of. Let me tell you why. It's about convenience. The Google ecosystem makes life a little bit more convenient for me. And in exchange for that convenience, I'm willing to give up information. And this is what I don't think a lot of people appreciate. Now, do they go overboard? Yes, they do go overboard, and they do take more information that you don't know that they are taking, and which is why I know they're saying, well, they're going to be more transparent. Okay? But really and truly, technically, and this is my lawyer hat coming on now, you did not read the fine print because it says it in the fine print. You just never read the fine print. So when Google, you setting up and you say okay to everything without reading what you're saying okay to, these people are very, very smart, and them are very, very smart lawyers that they pay a ton of money to work their way around this thing, right? What is happening now, as Amario has rightly said, is that data privacy is becoming a lot more, people are becoming a lot more sensitive to data and data privacy. And because they're becoming a lot more sensitive to data and data privacy, they're now starting to take it a lot more seriously. Some of us a bit extra, but starting to take it a lot more seriously and wanting to kind of wrestle back control of their information. But I say, if you want to use Google search engine, if you want to watch free content on social media and on these other platforms, and if you want to be able to do certain things for your entertainment, comfort, and convenience, there's an exchange that you're going to have to make. It is not free. The only alternative to not having any platform collect any data is to pay. That's the only alternative. If you pay the platform, you can have a say in what they do with your data. Well, you can have a say in what they do with your data now to a certain point. But if you are not paying to access these platforms, how else are these platforms going to sustain themselves? So you want the platform for free, and you are not giving anything to be able to access platform for free? Not no work. So in a which life? We live in a capitalist world, pretty much. Nothing functions or works that way. They have staff to pay. They have technicians to pay. It's a business they are running. And so again, as I said, that's my lawyer hat coming into play where I'm saying we can be sensitive about data, but let's not pretend that we're not getting something out of the bargain. The bargain is you can jump on Google and say, Google, look for this information for me. And you get the information. How do you think that works? Right? So, yes, they go overboard. Yes, data privacy is now becoming a very serious topic. People are taking it more seriously. But as I said, the only the only the only remedy is to pay for these platforms. And how many of us are willing to pay for Instagram, pay for Facebook, pay for YouTube, pay for TikTok? How much of us are going to pay for these platforms? Okay, there you go. All right, guys, let's get back to the topic at hand. Thank you for that, Amario. Sandra, you wanted to say something again? Is your audio fixed? Sandra? Sandra. Sandra is not here. Okay. All right. All right, guys, let's get back on track. Let's jump into online campaign. And guys, I'm noticing a lot of you going, yeah, they're tracking, but you're the advertisers in this case, you know. You're the brand or business who wants this information. And by selling you the information, that's where you pay for ads. That's what we mean by selling you the information. It's not so behind the thing, undercover thing. When you pay for ads, you're paying for information. So that's what that is, right? Anyways, let's talk about online campaigns. You know, guys, you know when you sit down and you put together your slides and you test and you retest to make sure that your slides are working the way they're supposed to work, and then the day you come to present, your slides do this. Yeah. So there are many different types of ad campaigns. Now, depending on the purpose of the campaign may be different. But regardless of the purpose or the type of campaign, all campaigns should be aligned with your business goals and help define your digital, which should help define your digital objectives, right? So there are different types of campaigns that you can do. You can do product launch campaigns, you can do brand awareness campaigns, you can do rebranding campaigns, which I'm seeing a lot of Jamaican companies doing nowadays. Some of them we call de-branding because they have kind of scaled back their branding to make it a lot simpler and a lot easier to be viewed on certain types of platforms. And of course, you have your seasonal campaigns. So Christmas, Easter, Valentine's, Mother's Day, Father's Day, these different kind of celebratory kind of campaigns that we do. So depending on, is there another one? No. So depending on the purpose of the campaign, you can do different campaign types. You have campaigns that run right throughout the year. And these are mostly around brand awareness campaigns. So maybe when you just launch something and you're trying to, create a groundswell around a product or a service or even an event, right? So you have brand awareness campaigns. Now, Link Jamaica has gone on an extensive online campaign. So let's look at how they've used. The only thing they've not used here is the seasonal campaign, and I'm waiting for the they did do Easter campaigns actually, and I'm waiting for Independence to see what kind of campaigns they're gonna run. But they've done product launch, brand awareness, and they've not yet done rebranding because they're new, right? So let's look at some of the ads that they've run on some of the campaigns. So with this ad, you can see that this is a paid ad, paid search engine ad on YouTube. What I found interesting though is I had to put in the specific keywords to see the ad. So when I put in digital wallet Jamaica, which is what Link is supposed to be, Link doesn't come up as an ad. But it's only when I put in the terms Link Jamaica that I was able to see the ad. I think that's bad SEO, but that's just me. That's just me. Anyways, this is another ad that they have on. I won't say bad SEO because they're really just starting out, so they have room. Give them some grace. But if I'm searching digital wallet, Jamaica, now think about the keys, the search term there. Digital wallet, which is what your app is, and Jamaica, which means I'm putting in a location, and you're something to pop up. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Here's another ad that this one was from Instagram stories. From link. I noticed the call to action is download. My thing is, this is not an example of a good call to action. Let me tell you why. What am I downloading? Nothing here tells me that this is an app. It says get 250 when you sign up and 250 for everyone you refer. Sign up for what? Refer to what? This wasn't a video, you know. This wasn't a video ad. This was an image ad. And it wasn't like, because depending on, you can, for stories, you can have like, I think up to 4 images in your story ad. So it's not like one story had this and then another story explained further and then another story says there's an app. It was just this and then a button that says download. And down here, so in very, very pale green, it says limited time offer. Now, imagine I'm coming across this for the very first time. Never heard of Link before. I wouldn't know what this is. What am I downloading? I wouldn't know. So guys, this is why it's important for you to have very strong call to action that matches your ad. Okay, so here's another display ad on social media. This was on YouTube, sorry. This was on YouTube, not social media. But I've seen similar ads on Instagram. I want you to pay attention to the size of the ad because that's going to be important when you're running ads as well. The size of your ad. And this is another reason why you need to choose the right platform and the right ad type because you also have size limitations on ads as well. Notice that this is this looks like a 16:9 to me, and it kind of fits in with YouTube because YouTube the ratio is 16:9 as well for in-feed posts, so it kind of fits in with that as well. And if you go into Google Ads and try running an ad, they show you the different ad sizes and stuff that you can run as well. And then here's another piece of ad that I would have seen. Now, this is influencer marketing because they invited this YouTuber called Get Paid Daily to come and do a piece about Link who was at the Jamaica Coffee Festival. And so you notice that he has a particular code, specific code, to claim some type of reward. And then you have link up app review free bonus for sign up, right? So that's I think he did a review for the app, which is probably why they reached out to him. And now he has a free bonus when you sign up because of it. So this is an example of influencer marketing. And he did say in the video that they reached out to him. So this is these are examples, guys, of a product launch and a brand awareness campaign from a local entity, Link. They've been on a roll with this. I cannot tell you how many ads I've seen on Link. And this is interesting. The last ad I saw was this morning, and it was a video ad, and it was a skippable video ad, and all it said was in a very, very computer voice. So, it's not a real voice, it's a computer generated voice. And all it kept saying was, sign up for Link. Sign up now. Sign up. That's all it said. For like 5 seconds. That's all it said. With moving things on the screen. Okay. But anyways, guys, they've been doing a product launch campaign and a brand awareness campaign. I think the campaigns have been effective on a whole because of just the volume of it. So what they have done is they've integrated traditional marketing with online marketing and online advertising and campaigns. Because when we're talking about work campaigns, we're talking about ad campaigns. And because they can afford, because this is NCB, they can afford to plaster this all over the place. I think that's why it's successful. But I think if we broke it down individually, we can see that there are issues with some of the ads, like I would have pointed out to you. But yeah. Anyways, guys, just an example for you. Is what I mean by things not doing what you want them to do. Anyways, so online marketing analytic tools. So guys, I'm gonna have to fix this because this is supposed to go in a particular order. Hold a second. This is what happens when you don't double check your work properly and you think you did, but you actually didn't. All right, guys, let me quickly fix this. Let me quickly fix this. All righty. All right, guys, had to fix that because that would have caused some problems here. All right. Somebody says maybe Link did that for so persons can go and look for research. So you stop and look and wonder what them talking about. Don't give people extra work to do. You don't want to give consumers extra work to do. Who's gonna go and research what this is? If you're popping up in front of me, make yourself known what you are and what you do. Anybody got time to go researching you? Sandra said she found that one. Joanna said she found that one creepy. Somebody said they saw that this morning. Okay. You see, it took you a lot longer to download. I still haven't downloaded it yet because honestly, I don't think there's enough data information out there as to what exactly this thing is and how it is going to be used. And I think there's an oversimplification as to what a digital wallet is. And I don't think a lot of Jamaicans actually understand the concept of a digital wallet because how Link is using it, they're not necessarily using it as a digital wallet. They're more using it as like Cash App. Cash App is not a digital wallet, technically. So yeah, but yeah. Somebody says they don't know if it's secure. I don't know if it's secure either. There's not a lot of information out there about exactly what this thing is. The only thing I know is that Jamdex uses it. And I'm like, great, I don't have a lot of information about Jamdex either. So I have not been moved, but that's just me. And I think I'm a lot more skeptical about it because of what I do. I think that's where my skepticism comes in. You see, when you have more information than the average member of the public about certain things, when you see certain things being put out there, you're like, no, right? Because you know better, kind of thing. Yes, they did do a Twitter space, and I found it lacking. I found it lacking. I know they've been on Kalila Reynolds, but yeah, there's a lot of talking wide, talking round without actually getting into what this thing is. I think there are we pay like a local paper. I don't know what you mean, Joanna. Their campaigns are here. I totally agree. Yeah, easy pay as well. Yeah, I don't know exactly what Link is supposed to do. What it reminded me of, because I did cover Link when I had the Tuesday morning show. I did cover a Link once, and basically what I said then, and I still stand by, is that Link is like a Cash App. I don't see the difference between Link and Cash App. And as far as I know, Cash App is not a digital wallet. Cash App is just a service that allows you to transfer money from one account to a next account. That's not what a digital wallet is. But okay. Somebody says I start analyzing ads more deeper than I used to. Yeah, when you're in the space, I do that a lot too. I look at people marketing and analyze it and go, if I was doing it, how would I have done it different? Or how could I improve it? Or maybe if they did that, or some ads are just really good. Like my forever favorite is cheese. My forever favorite. Right? They got it right. I'm sorry. That and the Pepsi commercial. I think Pepsi Jamaica, KFC Jamaica, Barita, JMB. There are certain brands that I think generally gets their ads right. They're doing promotions right. Generally speaking, there have been misses, but generally speaking, I thought so too, Andreen. Earlier when they just started talking about it, because but then after looking at the very precious few information that's out there, I'm like, it's not, because Jamdex is not cryptocurrency. It's not cryptocurrency. So digital ads are not as compelling as they used to be, I don't think. Yeah, Christina, digital currency is not the same as cryptocurrency. They're not the same. Digital currency and cryptocurrency, two different things. I know I was answering him. Okay, understand, Christina. Thanks, Nicholas. Yeah, they're not the same thing. Cryptocurrency is decentralized. Um, Digital currency is centralized, which means it's just another form of currency issued by established banking institutions, issued by the Bank of Jamaica. Cryptocurrency is completely decentralized. So it's two different things. Yeah. The digital currency is still controlled by a central agency, hence centralized. It's governed by the BOJ. It's funny how they do advertise as crypto, but the minister in parliament several times made it abundantly clear that this is not crypto. So it's not a cryptocurrency. Once you hear digital currency, not a cryptocurrency. What you can do is it's what it says digital currency. You can use it online in lieu of actual money. We don't know how that's going to work yet, because as yet we don't know which banks are going to be participating in it. Well, we know NCB clearly, because they're pushing the link thing and kind of making the connection between Jamdex and Link. We just I haven't seen data as to how these two things work together yet. So can you repeat the questions when answering so that we can follow the conversation, as I am not able to read the chat and pay attention to the presentation? Well, the presentation has paused, so I can respond to the chat, because I think a dialogue is important. So if you let me know what you've lost out on, Trisha, I can catch you up. Somebody says they think NCB is leading with tech. Okay. All right. I'm glad you think so. I also couldn't get past the fact that Link was affiliated with NCB, but NCB didn't make a post to their social about it for a long while. I don't think NCB is a tech forward company. I don't. But maybe we have different definitions of what we mean by tech forward. I know in Jamaica what we mean by tech forward is not what tech forward means, because you see places like Digicel and Flow, everybody now is calling themselves a digital based or tech based. Okay. I have the NCB online. I have NCB online, and it's a very clunky, cumbersome platform. I don't think that's particularly tech forward. And remember too that being able to bank online, whether through an online web-based browser or through your mobile browser or through a mobile app, is 20 or 30 odd years old. It's not new. So I don't consider that tech forward either. Link, again, not new technology. I don't consider that tech forward either. I think they're progressing, but I don't think that's tech forward either, because time and time again, our banking institutions shirk fintech. Now, fintech is tech forward for financial companies. Now, when you have a banking situation where you can't provide proper payment gateway processing for local businesses, how are you tech forward if you're not doing that? Now, NCB does have this link thing with them gear, I guess, but it's very, very limited. It's extremely limited. So in these ways, I don't particularly think any of our banks are tech forward. As somebody says, Scotia not bad. I think Scotia is the worst, because if you think about Scotia Bank, and let me tell you why I think Scotia is worse. And I'm going off tangent, guys, but there's not a lot more left in the presentation. Let me tell you why I think Scotia is worse in this regard. Scotia is an international banking agency. They're a multilateral company, meaning they have branch in several places across the world. Why is it that branches in Canada, which is where Scotia is headquartered, why is it that customers in other markets can bank online, create accounts online, do all their transactions, do everything online without anybody ever seeing them not one time? Why we can't do that? Why is it there's only the other day we can now open an account online, and then we still have to go to Scotia for sending documents, and we have not had the same privileges and services that other customers in other markets have had from Scotia. I don't take too kindly to that, because I don't think that doesn't, in my mind, that is saying to me that they don't think very highly of me as a customer. That's what that is saying to me. Um, So that's, guys, let me tell you, and I don't want you guys to take what I'm saying as gospel. Understand that I'm coming from a very particular perspective as somebody who is literally part of my job function and part of what I do just in my spare time, because it's something that I find very fascinating. I look at technology, I look at digital, and I look at how we are using technology and how we're using digital, and how we are actually improving or not improving or spaces using technology and digital. So this is kind of what I do. I have a very different definition, because I am looking at what is happening internationally and what is happening locally. My perspective is not local. My perspective is international, and based on what I'm seeing happening internationally, we're not ready yet. We don't know already yet. Which is why in 2020 during the lockdown, I say you hear people talking about the technological revolution. The technological revolution happened in the 1940s, and even earlier than that. What you're seeing now is a flux of technological evolutions. Technology has been evolving rapidly, and we're still at the starting line, getting ready to take off. And you hear it in how government officials talk about tech. You hear it in how businesses talk about tech. The knowledge base is just not there. And I can understand it, because we're not a tech culture. But we need to very quickly become a science and tech culture, because we're going to get seriously left behind, even more than we are now, if we don't adapt very quickly. Right? Um all right, guys. Tashika says, does it have to do with money laundering and scamming? That's what they say. But we've been having problems with banks since Wapikil Philo. So, okay. It's like JP is telling me that the reason why we're having electricity cut-offs and why my electricity bill is so high is because people are is stealing electricity. And I'm going, but this been the case and y'all haven't fixed it. So, okay. you know? Uh, is my audio low? I don't know. I understand too that we operate under certain international agreements, and I also understand too that as a bank, you are restricted in certain things that you can do because of the fact that you have to assimilate is not the word. The fact that you have to acquiesce to certain demands made on you. So, for instance, if you want to have cross border transactions happening, we have to acquiesce to FATCA and other stipulations on other international organizations that we have to do business with. So, I do understand that as well. All right, guys, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up today's session. We're looking at online marketing tools, and then we're gonna look at setting an ads budget, and then we're gonna wrap that up, and we can get back into the discussion. I think having these kinds of discussions kind of cement the class. Okay. So now, how do you find that information? How do you find the data? Well, you have data collection tools. So we know about social media data collection tools. You know, every social media have their analytics, right? And if you should go into like the Facebook ads manager, you can then get more precise. You can do more precise targeting there because the information is there. But I'm going to look at two tools that I think are probably the most used tools in terms of data collection is, and one is a social media based tool and one is a web based tool. No, mind you, there are a ton of data collection tools out there because if you use third party applications like Sprout Social, what's the other one called? There's so many of these third party applications that can collect data across different channels. But let's talk about the ones that are free and ones that are more sophisticated. Let's put it that way. So, advertise. So, say for instance, you are a part of the Facebook system, Facebook, Instagram kind of system, and you want to run ads on Facebook and Instagram, right? Facebook has a tool called Facebook Pixel. And what Facebook Pixel is literally just a small piece of code that is embedded into your site. And what that code does is it tells your site what to do when certain actions are taken. So if I visit your website after seeing an ad from you, that piece of code is collecting that information from that website and feeding it back to Facebook, who then creates custom audiences automatically based on the actions that these people are taking from your ad, creating custom audiences that I can then retarget on Facebook. So this is a tool for retargeting. It's a tool so you can create specific audiences. So, because what Facebook is telling you is that Katie Francis saw your ad, clicked on your ad, went to your website, but she may not have to, she did not take an action or she took an action. Most likely she did not take an action. This is what Katie looked at on your website. This is what Katie is interested in. This is where Katie is. This is what Katie does for a living. Now, with that data from Facebook, you can then create a new ad to get back to me, to put in front of me. And this time, you're I'm guaranteed to see it because Facebook told you exactly what you need to do to get to me, and you're creating the ad to get back to me. So I'm gonna see that ad. I know you can talk to me directly, right? You can use that ad to talk to me directly, or people like me, or my group directly. So that's what Facebook Pixel allows you to do. I don't know of any other social media platform that has this function, but Facebook does. And that just goes to show you the enormous reach of Facebook, because this is a revolutionary kind of tool in online, in marketing in general, but specifically in online marketing, right? Because this is a social media site. Now, Facebook takes up a large portion of the market in terms of online ads as well. So it would have made sense for Facebook to have a tool like this, such a sophisticated kind of tool like this, that you as an advertiser, and this is Facebook understanding the market that they're in. Facebook knows that most people use them for advertising, right? They know this. Facebook been selling our data and our information. So it makes sense for them to do this, to kind of, they claim that is a tool to help you, the advertiser, but all the information is going back to Facebook. So it's a tool for them to collect even more information that they can sell you back, because you're going to have to pay for those retargeting ads. So Facebook is giving you a tool from them that you embed in your website so they can track your website, which is something they cannot do outside of using that tool. Think about it. Smart. Okay, so that's the Facebook Pixel. The other tool is the OG, Google Analytics, right? Google Analytics is like the granddaddy, right, of analytical tools on the internet, right? So what Google Analytics does is it, you again, another piece of code, they call it a page tag, right? And what they do, what you do is, once you have a Google account, you sign up for Google Analytics. It's a free tool, just like the Pixel, and you again embed it into your website. It takes like 2 seconds. It's no biggie. Even if you are, not a website, you can embed it in your website. And what it does is it runs in the background of your website, and it just sits there and collects a ton of data. So every time somebody visits your web page, Google is collecting data like how many persons visit your page, where they were coming from to get to your page, how long they spent on your page, how many times they visited your site, where on the page did they fall off, right? And where they went after they left your website. Google is collecting all that data, plus a ton more. Remember, Google is tracking people around the web. So Google can probably give you more information like gender, location, all the juicy stuff. What then happens is Google collates that information and breaks it down into insights. So you can know where your web traffic is coming from. You can know where the web traffic goes, and you can have literally Google maps out your website traffic for you. And that's pretty much the point of Google Analytics, is to map your website traffic, so you can use that data for better SEO targeting, for better search engine marketing, or advertising. That's what search engine marketing. SEO is the organic version. Search engine marketing is the paid version, which is online advertising. So based on the information that Google gives to you, you can better develop your platform. What it also does is help Google to rank you as well, right? Because Google now understands how your website is performing, so it helps Google to rank your websites, right? So these are really two extremely sophisticated tools that are collecting a ton of information that you can then access to improve upon your strategy, whether it's your organic strategy or your paid strategy. All right. So, guys, that's really it for digital advertising. As I said, I didn't want to go in depth because I know it can be a lot of information. But the last thing I want to end with is, how much should you spend on ads? How much money should you really be spending on ads? Well, it depends. There are varying factors that you have to consider again. What are your business goals? And how are you using those goals to determine your online objective? We're not gonna ever get past that, guys. That's never that's plastered at the top of all your to-dos and considerations when it comes to online. But there are some other things that you should consider. The objective, who is your audience, and where are they hanging out? Where are they going online? That's important because remember we talked about in your online strategy, in your online advertising strategy, you have to match your audience with the product and choose the right platform or ad type. But if you don't know your audience and you don't know where they are, that's going to be a problem, right? You have money is the next consideration. Or your pocket stay, right? What can you afford to spend? Because that's one of the main considerations for a lot of people, especially small brands and businesses that don't have large budgets, right? What can you afford to spend? What does your pocket look like? How effective is your organic strategy? Because as I said before, it makes no sense you have this elaborate ad strategy where you're sinking a ton of money into ads and you're not doing anything else to supplement that. You're not doing any offline activities. You're not coming on a TV show. You're not writing something you're not contributing or publishing anything. You are not appearing anywhere. You're just running ads online. That is not an effective strategy, especially when you're a small business and your money not strong like that. That's not an effective strategy. So you have to ensure that your organic strategy is solid, it's effective. Because if your organic strategy is effective, it can significantly reduce the cost or the amount of money you spend on advertising. And the last one is, what does it cost you to create the actual ads itself? Because we're talking about ads as if they're this separate thing. No, we're talking about content. What does it cost you to create the content that you're going to use in your ad, whether it's a graphic or a video, or what is it costing you? Do you have the talent in-house to create the content, or do you have to outsource the content? And what's the cost to outsource the content? But we're also looking at the time it takes to create the content and the effort it takes to create the content and the research that goes into creating the content. All that is a part of your cost factor, right? And so you have to pay attention to what does it actually cost to create the actual ad, right? Here we have a little gift, and he was talking about your budget calculator. So in this instance, it's looking at the annual revenue, the type of business you run, the percent of annual revenue generated online, and then you can view your budget as either monthly or annually. So if your organic strategy is good and you're coupling that with a very simple, very straightforward ad strategy, you can then tell, okay, this is how much money I would have made because of my online activities. And again, if you have Google Analytics, you can know how many people went from Facebook to your site. You can know if they bought the thing, if they didn't buy the thing, if they signed up for the thing, if they download the thing. You can tell, right? And so you can tell how much you're actually generating because of your online activities. And then what you can do is you can say, okay, a percentage of that I'm going to reinvest into more marketing, more ads. So you can do it that way. You can decide that you're going to do it by percentage, as well as you can also decide that you're going to do it based on objectives. So say for instance, you're Link and you're doing a launch campaign. What is the objective? Say for instance, their KPI is that they want to have 10,000 Jamaicans sign up, buy up in 10,000 Jamaican visit Google or the App Store and download the app. That's the KPI. How do they get there? Well, they have to run ads. So they do the influencer marketing, they do the display ads, they do the video ads, they do the social media ads, they have the social media pages, they do them live, they do them audio sessions. So this is there's, and as well they're supplementing that with a very robust traditional marketing strategy. They're on TV, they're on radio, they're on billboard, they're on flyers, them everywhere, right? They can afford to do that because they have the money, right? You may not be able to do that. But let me let you in on a little strategy. And this is my opinion. I don't think you should run ads only when you are promoting something. And this is where the brand awareness campaigns come in. And what I think you should do is not necessarily focus on one particular product or service, but focus on brand building, brand awareness, and brand building types of campaigns. And so, with brand building and brand awareness types of campaigns, what you're focusing on is the what is your brand about? Who are you? Who are you talking to? What's your message? What do you represent? You're focusing on that aspect of it because you're trying to get people to like you as a brand. You're trying to get people to relate to you as a brand. You're trying to make your message resonate with people on a different level than just, oh, you're my potential customer or my potential follower, right? And that's how you start creating your community, right? So that's how I think you should. I know with the supplementing with ads, I think you can start off with boosted posts, right? Very subtle, because what boosted post does is ensure that the majority of your followers are actually getting your content, right? That's what boosted post really does. Boosted posts don't really bring in new followers. What it can do is target people who are similar to your audience, right? So I think that's kind of a good place for you to start out. If you have an event or some kind of special product launch coming up, I think your method should be hybrid. A huge organic push as well as supplemented by an online ads push. But also offline activities. And I'll give an example. Last year, when I was doing the youth summit, the first annual youth summit, what I did was I was on radio stations, I came on TVJ, I was in the papers just talking about digital literacy, because I think the title of it was The Future of Work or something like that. I don't remember. The Future of Work. And so what I did was I reached out to these different traditional platforms and said, this is what I'm talking about for Youth Month. Now, Youth Month is a very popular time for activities in Jamaica, right? And so a lot of people were wanting, because you have to remember too, traditional channels are also looking for content. They thrive on content as well. And so they're always looking for content and for people to talk to. And so if you position yourself as the person to talk to about this particular topic, you'll find that they're more receptive. So I positioned myself as the person to talk to about the future of work and how we're preparing our young people for the future of work, because that was the topic for the event. And so I was all over the place talking about this specific thing. And that is what I got interest from, um, publicity, got publicity for the event. I didn't pay for any of it. I didn't pay for it. In fact, I didn't even have to run an ad. I did not run an ad for the Youth Summit. I never had to. Another thing you can do, guys, is you can reach out to organizations that have similar interests as you, or who, you think that there's alignment in terms of what your brand represents and what that organization represents, and have them partner with you to help promote your event or your launch or whatever. Look at what Naomi Garrett did when she was launching her book recently. I think it was Sagicor she partnered with, and Sagicor paid for her book launch event. But Sagicor has been a partner of her for some time, because when they do they have a weekly show. I keep forgetting what this weekly show is called. They have a really good weekly YouTube show, and I think it's sponsored by them as well. And so you can, but even if you're not a Naomi Garrick and you can't get to the level of a Sagicor, you can partner with other brands or businesses or agencies or whatever, that there's an alignment there, and you can form these partnerships where you're not necessarily asking them for money. What you're asking them for is endorsements. That's very effective. And this is something coming over from traditional marketing now. You're asking for endorsements. So when I reached out to the Ministry of Education and said, listen, I'm doing a Youth Month event as well. This is what I'm going to be talking about. I knew that that's not what they were going to be talking about. But they couldn't ignore that because of what the topic was: digital literacy. Everybody talking about digital. No, they couldn't ignore that. And of course, they wanted to be a part of that. But what was happening was that, and this is how it is so circular, what's happening was that there was alignment between my brand, Digital Jamaica, Digital Literacy, and what they were doing in terms of the ministries, the Ministry of Education, and a part of the government's agenda is digital, right? So there was an alignment on that front. There was an alignment in terms of who we were targeting: young people. I was mostly going after high school students, university students. As well, it took burden off them, because no, they had this other activity that they could funnel people into, right? So it supplemented what they were doing for Youth Month. And then there's even more alignment, because whatever publicity I get, and I mention the fact that the ministry is going to be at my event, it gave them more publicity as well. So their endorsement gave me more credibility and publicity, and gave them more publicity as well. So that's the partnership that we formed, and it was successful because the minister was there. He gave an opening speech, okay, and it was picked up by several news sources. So that's what I mean, guys, about forming these kind of symbiotic relationships, not just when you're launching something, but write down on a piece of paper who are the brands you like to work with, who are the agencies or the companies, and they don't have to be local, that you would like to work with because your brand aligns with them in some way, and make the connection. Literally reach out to them and say, hey, I'm doing this initiative, or this is a product or a service that I have that I think. I'll give you an example. Kiwanis Club. You know the type of people that the Kiwanis Club. They're usually business people, executives, those kind of people. And you have a service for business consultancy or whatever service that you think somebody in that space would be interested in. What you can do is reach out to a Kiwanis and say to a Kiwanis, hey, I know you guys have your monthly meetups where you invite people in to talk. I would love to come and talk to you guys about XYZ. Of course, you're shilling your product or your service, but you're talking around it. So you're not going there, go, listen, for $5.99, you can get this. You're not doing that. what you're going to talk about. Say, for instance, your service is business consultancy and particularly about product development, right? You're going to go in there to talk about product development. And at the end of that, you're going to say, and if you're interested in taking the conversation further, we offer free consultation, and that's how you pull them in. So it takes a little bit more research for you to kind of find out who's a part of my target audience. I remember earlier, guys, when we talk about the psychographic and the behavioral, the psychographic talked about interest groups. Look at what interest groups your audience would be a part of, and then reach out to those groups. If these groups are formalized in the form of like a club or like a association, reach out to the association, form relationships with the association so you can get to their members. All right, guys, and that's how you can that's how you can create a strong organic strategy and then supplement that with an ad strategy. Yeah, I hope that would have made sense to you guys. So that's it. That's it, guys. All right. I was supposed to be sharing my screen, but apparently I wasn't sharing my screen. I'm sorry. Let me just quickly share my screen so you can see what I was just looking at. Sorry. So this is what I was looking at, guys. This is the tools, the analytic tools. This is Google Analytics. And this is our video explaining
We're a community.
how Google Analytics works. It's in your reading list. And this is what I was talking about with the ads budget. This is the calculator I was talking about. So just to show you guys what I was looking at, because I wasn't sharing. Okay? All right, guys, let's see. So I have questions in the Q&A. Please give us an example of a tech-forward company so we understand what we should look for. An example of a tech-forward company locally. I'm going to have to think about that a little bit more. I'm going to have to think about that a little bit more. I wouldn't say Edufocal is tech forward. Edufocal is a tech company. It's not tech forward, it is a tech company. Is Barita tech forward, or is Barita just using social media correctly? As again, maybe my definition of tech forward is too narrow, but I will agree that Barita is very effective on social media. I wouldn't say that's tech forward. Tech forward has an element of digital transformation where that companies is actively using technology in their operations, in how they operate, not just how they communicate, but how they operate internally. And so MD Link is a tech company. I don't think I'm being too hard. I think what we're doing is we are reimagining what these things are because we are in that space. If you're tech forward, you're tech forward. If you're not, you're just not trying to wrangle that term so it fits in with our definition of it. Doesn't make sense. Guys, Hugo is a tech company. You can't be tech forward if you're a tech. It's not that you can't, but it's an automatic assumption that you're tech forward if you're a tech based company. So Hugo is a tech based company. I don't know about Gustazos. The only thing I know about Gustazos is that their customer service is crappy. But yeah, guys, let me see if I can Google tech forward so I can explain what tech forward is. Tech forward, A tech forward company so you have tech forward communication, which is what I think you guys are confusing it with. So you have companies that are tech forward in terms of how they communicate, but they are not necessarily a tech forward company. Uh, so here's a definition of a tech forward company. Tech forward consumer. Tech forward consumer, those who are the first to use the new technologies and channels to make the shopping experience better, right? This is in terms of retail now. So it's being one step ahead of technology and its changes, integrating technology as a means of transforming your business. And let's look at McKinsey, because McKinsey is like the go-to when it comes to these kinds of research and conversations. McKinsey have a document that says how to become tech forward. Um, So it says for executives looking for lessons in the wake of COVID-19, one important lesson has emerged clearly, and it is that every company needs to become a tech company. Okay, so it says whether it's been the shift to online working, the spike in online demand, or the increase in cyber assaults, technology has emerged as a critical business capability. It's not just about communication. So what they're saying is um, they give different ways that you can go about it's one of the ways it says is that the technology has to link to your business value. New technologies continually hit the market, many with tempting promises to solve many of tech's ills. Unfortunately, many of those shiny objects are not functional, not useful, and not worth your investment. But what they're saying is when you invest in the right kind of technology, it must match your business and it must increase your business value. So guys, that's what I mean by tech forward, meaning that you are looking at technology, you're kind of looking at the trajectory of technology, and you're looking at, okay, how can I incorporate this into my business to transform my business? But I'm not just going to do it one time. I'm going to continually evolve my business using technology, whether it is to create a better user experience, or to create better access, or to simplify business processing for my staff, for my suppliers, etc. That's a tech forward company for me, where technology is the central driving force. So technology coupled with business innovation, coupled with proper marketing, coupled with a solid business model and foundation, that to me is tech forward. I can't think of any company locally that is doing that. I'm sorry. I admit that I may not, I've not done research into that, and I'm going to know that you guys have asked, and I'm going to look to see who can I actually say is tech forward. I can't think of any on my MD Link is a tech company. Why do you guys keep bringing up MD Link? A company that is only functional because of technology, I don't think is a tech forward company. The whole point of tech forward is that you were a company that was not tech forward before and you're becoming tech forward now. So if you're a company based on technology, then you're not considered tech forward, you're considered a tech company. You know what I mean? So you can say that the doctors who use MD Link are tech forward. You can say that. But MD Link in and of itself is a tech based system. So supermarkets that allow for shopping online with a delivery service. Okay. Like all supermarkets? Guys, online shopping is not new technology, We're being exposed to it now because they've been forced to adapt. But shopping online is not new. Burrito is really close because services and tools I see from experience they use, like what? Like YouTube? Like you can sign up for their IPOs online? They calculate stuff online? That's what you mean? Guys, we are very generous in our view of these companies. Jamaica is not tech forward and Jamaican companies are not tech forward. I'm very sorry, but we are not, and it's because again we are not a tech culture, and there's room for us to improve that. But at the same time, I'm not going to be overly generous. I think we have been lacking in many instances. We have been lacking. When you have a government minister that is going to say that putting in Wi-Fi in city centers is making those cities smart, we have problems. we we have problems, right? The good thing is that, as Anjine said, there's room for growth and we are allowed certain grace because we have not been a tech culture and because we've had to grapple with that. We are allowed certain grace. So nobody's looking at us and go, oh my God, Jamaica, why are you guys so backwards? Nobody's really doing that because people kind of understand that they're not the creators of the technology, and that's another issue. We are consumers of technology, not the creators of it, and so we are given grace. United States don't have that grace. Most European countries don't have that grace. So because we have that grace, it gives us a little more time to adapt, but that's not going to be forever. Really miss not even one. As I said, Marcella, I have not really thought it through, and I'm going to go and look, and if I find one, I'll definitely let you know. I'm not saying there's none. I'm saying there's none that I readily comes to mind. Are stuff implemented for us to grow forward? I don't know what that means. Yes, Trisha, COVID has forced companies to adapt to technology. I don't consider that tech forward because if you notice, after COVID done, after the Prime Minister said COVID finish and now road free up, notice all of them have pretty much reverted. So much for the gains, right? All right, guys. So we have 30 minutes or a little bit under 30 minutes left for the class. Do you guys want to discuss the assignment? How are you guys? How is the assignment going for you guys? Yeah, Trisha, I know you were agreeing. COVID kicked a lot of them in the teeth. You know how much business got? You know how much big businesses in Jamaica went out of business because they were not flexible enough to adapt. And I can tell you the businesses that adapted and did well, Rainforest, CPJ, those are the two biggest standouts for me. Because when I tell you that they pivoted like a ma, right? And they were able to sustain. KFC had to pivot from when we tell KFC say we want delivery, no dice. They had to pivot. A lot of these fast food restaurants had to pivot to stay afloat, right? So a lot of pivoting happened. Somebody said, look at Spartan. I don't know about Spartan and Spry. It says Spartan didn't think outside the box like Spry. And the funny thing is, it was easier for companies like that to thrive. I read something one time, and I think it's the same McKinsey report, and they were talking about if you provide comfort, convenience, and entertainment for persons, if your business was in any one of those categories, comfort, convenience, entertainment, your business thrived during COVID, and it's true. Yeah, man, they were forced to pivot, but I think again, special shout out to CPJ and Rainforest those bags, yeah, them shot, and I think that that kept them afloat. And I see where they've continued to do it, and that's a smart thing for them to do, to continue to, maybe not as much as they did before, but to continue to do it. Is mail pack and okay, guys, remember I said there's a difference between tech forward communication. So mail forward, a mail pack, I don't see how mail pack is tech forward. What I can say is that they've used tech effectively to communicate, but I don't see how they're tech forward. Guys, remember what I said about tech forward companies. Tech forward companies use technology to increase the value of their company, to transform and innovate within their company for whatever the objective is, whether it is to improve the customer experience, improve their digital customer service, to transform business operations, to simplify processes. That's what we mean by technology, because technology is driving all of that. Putting up some social media posts is not it. That's not that. I'm sorry. That's not that. That's literally just using technology to communicate better, which is great. Happy for them, but that's not tech forward, I don't think. It's a step in the right direction for sure though. For sure. Somebody says, oh, nothing else in the Q&A. Guys, what about what's going on with your assignments? What's going on with your assignments? Are we on track for submission on Friday? Anybody? Are we on track for submission on Friday? Hopefully. Yes, we are. Okay. Is there anything you guys want me to go over? Oh, group 12 submitted already. Group 12, do you mind if I bring up your submission and kind of go through it? Since you guys have submitted already. But I don't see anything in group 12 folder. Group 12, I don't even see the first submission in your folder. What's going on? What brand pillars are? I've not said anything about brand pillars. Group 12, I'm not seeing anything in your folders, not even the first submission. Yeah, Christina, I said nothing about, did I say something about brand pillars in the assignment? I don't recall saying anything about brand pillars. I suspect she meant content pillars, but I want her to tell me what she meant. It says brand topic pillars. Does it? Let me look. Oh, it says brand topic pillar. It meant it's content pillars. I don't know why I worded it that way. It's content pillar, and I would have already gone through content pillars. Yeah, it says brand topic pillars. I don't know why I worded it that way. I meant content pillars, guys. I hope you guys realize that it was that and didn't kind of go off on weird tangents. You guys did realize that that's what I meant, right? because if you guys went through the document, the assignment document, you'll see that what am I looking at? You'll see that it says topic pillars, same thing as content pillars. It's just what are the topics you're going to be discussing on the particular platforms. Okay. Anything else that you guys need me to clarify for the assignment? So Nicholas, you guys, I must go and check your group for a link from my assignment when I clearly instructed you to put the assignment in a particular place. No, me not. No, no, I ain't. That wasn't the instruction. That was not the instruction. So, as far as I'm concerned, Group 12 hasn't submitted anything. Not even the first assignment, which is a week now. I think, what was it, last week or week before? So you guys have not submitted the assignment because you didn't follow my instructions. Because everybody's going, oh, other people can access. Do you honestly think that the other group members are going into everybody's folder and looking what they're putting there? I can guarantee you all of you are saying the exact same thing. I can almost guarantee that all of you guys are saying the exact same thing. And it's not because you would have spied on the next person. The amount of stress I see you guys go through just to initiate a group meeting, I doubt very much you guys are going to the group. You guys are not even going to the group folder to look at the reading list. Believe me, your assignment is safe. My instructions were for the assignments to be uploaded to the folders that you were given. Please upload the assignments to the folders that you were given. Okay? I can guarantee, because I know who accessed these folders, and I can guarantee you ain't nobody going around spying on your work in the folders. Trust me. And if they do go and look on your work, it still has to come back to the group, and the group have to make a decision. And I'm in these group discussions, and I don't see anybody going, oh, hey, say group 12 wrote this. I've not seen that happen. I've not seen any group talk about what another group is doing. So, and I'm in all the groups. So you're safe. Believe me, you're safe. Okay? Oh my god. Anything else about the assignment, guys, that you want me to go over? Office hours is Tuesdays and Wednesdays 2 to 3. You have to set your hours beforehand. So you guys are, I'm looking forward to these final presentations because it sounds like you guys are on top of it. That's what it sounds like. All right, guys, is there anything from the lesson today that you want us to go over? You see, you guys are very silent now, and then I get some odd messages at 10 o'clock at night. So, can we use the class time to discuss? Are you guys having any other issues with heart? Is there anything at all that you guys want us to go over, look at the assignment, what you would have learned so far? Is there a topic you guys want me to clarify something on? You nothing? You guys are just good? Because if you guys are good, we can go. Pillar page. What is a pillar page? What's a pillar page, Trisha? I'm trying to put my okay. All right, work. Okay, work on that. Is there any topic that we would have discussed so far that you guys don't understand and need me to clarify? Asking for the last time. Anything I would have said today that you need me to clarify? No? Okay. All right, guys. So we can wrap for today. We're wrapping a little bit early today, which is the opposite of what usually would have happened when we wrap later. But we wrap. Sandra has something to say. Okay, Sandra, go ahead. Sandra,
Hello?
hi.
Okay, so it's working now. All right, so let me bring it up. The same pillars thing. Where's my phone? Jesus. I posted that. Hold on. I'm trying to remember what you talk about today, but someone asked that question. I know that she brought up that. I remember I had a little issue. My group is very supportive, so they actually explained it to me.
She
But
brought up that what? You still haven't say
someone brought up the brand content, brand pillar
the brand
thingy.
topic pillars just meant
Right,
content pillars.
right. So I want you to just go over, because I know I listened to the recording, but you gave notes. I took some notes, but I had an issue with the fact that I think I mixed it up. I'm trying to make sure I open it before I said the wrong thing. Okay, so on the side, you had content, audience, community engagement, promotion, funnels. And then in your lovely diagram, you had the thing about the 5 core pillars of social media marketing, which is the analytic and reporting, the planning strategy. When Because I did the question on my own before we got to the group, because that's what we're supposed to do. And apparently I must have switched around when we were doing it. So I was hoping you could just explain it.
You did the question. What question?
You remember in the group assignment, that question, let me bring up my folder.
There's no question in the group. You mean the section where I asked you to develop a content pillar?
Yes,
What do you think I'm asking you to do, Sandra?
that's what I'm trying to clarify. Is that question linked to that slide that I just mentioned? Is it linked to that diagram with the 5 core pillars?
Diagram with the 5 core pillars. Where's
Of
that
social
diagram
media
you're referring
marketing?
to?
If you look in group 8, the WhatsApp group, let us see if I can send it to you directly.
Where did you guys get this diagram from?
Um, it's in your presentation. Hold on, let me forward it. I can find you back now.
Okay, guys, the presentation says pillars of social media marketing. You realize that, right?
Right.
So you're confused because I used the word pillars twice, Sandra?
No.
Pillars of social media marketing, what I was talking to you about is the foundational things that needs to be present for effective social media marketing. If you go back and listen, that's exactly what I said. When we're talking about content pillars, I was
Mhm.
talking to you about how you develop specific topics for your brand or business that you're going to be creating content around.
Okay. And it's not because you use pillars twice. I just wanted the clarification because, as I said, I
Yeah,
got it.
but based on the slide that you showed me, that's the only
Mhm.
conclusion I can come to because it's the only other place I would have used the word pillars. So I did not ask you. No, remember you're doing a digital marketing course, and I never
Mhm.
asked you to tell me about social media content. In fact, I've left it up to you guys to figure out where your content is gonna go.
Miss, I
So
think you're
I don't see how this particular slide specifically referring to social media marketing is causing confusion.
Miss, and I think because I don't know, because we're frustrating you or something. And I did
No, I
say,
don't. No, I'm
I
not
no,
frustrated.
because
I'm just, when you guys say these things to me, it makes me think how effective I am being in teaching you guys. Because if this is causing
Miss
confusion, I
Francis,
am
Miss
concerned.
Francis, hold a moment. Miss Francis, you are very effective. I'm saying to you, I got mixed up even with doing the assignment. I'm asking you to explain that slide. I'm
Okay,
not
so this
saying
slide.
I'm not saying it's linked to assignment. I'm just saying when, and I'm admitting, and I said I admitted it to the group that when I attempted to do the assignment on my own, I
Yeah,
missed that information that you so
with this
love
one.
to get. Thank you, Miss. That's
No,
what I'm
I'm
asking.
trying. No, I'm just here trying to brainstorm aloud why there's probably a mix up, and I think maybe there's a mix up because, as somebody says in the chat, you're probably conflating the words. So this is pillars of social media marketing, and what I was showing you. And if you notice, the diagram in the slide talked about the five core pillars of social media
Right.
marketing. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, what we're saying is these are the elements necessary for social media marketing. You have to have content, you have to have an audience you're marketing to, community, engagement, promotion, and funnels. So we're saying that these are the key components of developing an effective social media marketing.
Okay.
Now,
So,
what you are asked to do in the assignment,
Miss, this has nothing to do with the assignment. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
I know, but let me clear that up while we're
Oh,
here. What
okay.
you're being asked to do in the assignment, based on the spreadsheet that you're given, is if
Mm-hmm.
you say to me that one of your digital channels is going to be a LinkedIn, like the example is in the document, what
Mm-hmm.
I needed to tell me is who you're going to be talking to on LinkedIn, where it says audience and where it says topic pillars. I needed to tell me what you're going to be focused on. Now, if you read the spreadsheet, you know what it says. The focus on LinkedIn is to reestablish brand philosophy around leadership, and it
Mm-hmm.
says content on this platform should be based around the following. Notice that that is how it is worded in the document, because what
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you to do is tell me what are you going to be talking about on LinkedIn and who you're going to be talking to. So if
Mm-hmm.
it's not LinkedIn, if it's Instagram, if it's Twitter, if it's your website, if it's your email, what are you going to be talking about and who are you going to be talking to? Which is why on the other hand it talks about content ideas, type, and format. So it's part and parcel of that same thing, because notice the very next thing in that assignment is to outline 3 content ideas, type,
Mm-hmm.
and format per platform.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that just clarifies it for everybody, that what I'm asking you to do is tell me what content you're going to be talking about. Now, this content has to be one of your pillar content. And your pillar content is a content that is specific to your brand, or that your brand is going to take ownership of. If you remember when we
Mm-hmm.
were talking about that, when we were talking about
Yes.
developing content pillars and topic clusters. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a discussion, a topic that your brand can take ownership of, and make that the central focus of all of your content um that you're going to be publishing on the different channels. So I'm
Okay.
asking you guys to devise content pillars and then tell me which platform you're going to be distributing that content around that topic on. So if you guys came up with 5 content pillars, say you came up with, so because it's a women's club, you're talking about women in the workplace, you're talking about women in leadership. One of your topics could be developing young girls for leadership positions. It could be about women's rights in the workplace. Because you're a women's club and that's kind of the focus of. So, say for instance, those 4 things were your topic pillars, right? So, say
Mm-hmm.
for instance, now you guys say, well, we're gonna have a blog because that's a channel. We're gonna have a blog on our website, and on the blog on the website, we're gonna focus on these topics.
Mm-hmm.
So, say for instance, the topic pillar for the website is around women and leadership. So, you're gonna talk about how to develop women leaders, what makes for a good leader in the workplace, how to navigate sexual bias in the workplace, how to um, how to what you call that, upward mobility in the workplace and how that affects women. So that could be some of the things you guys are talking about on the blog under the topic women in leadership. You get me?
Yes, I
So
got
I
you.
would have
We got you.
expected that. I expect to see that reflected in that document.
Okay. So we are well. I figured that that document was linked to the structure of digital marketing channels handout. So we went through that.
Okay,
Um,
yes, it
yeah,
is.
right. So we went through that. But
Okay.
as I said, because I did admit to the crew, maybe because I was dealing with going into your slides and whatever. I just really wanted to go through the pretty part of that slide that I was asking you because you said if we're having any hiccups, and I did have a hiccup on it. So that's why I asked. It had nothing to do with this.
Nicholas, I see a request to access. All right, Sandra, you're good now though.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, then, thanks. I see, Nicholas, where you're asking for access to view. Why would you need access to view? I mean, if you have the link, let me go back in the groups and see if I would have made it accessible to everybody. I think I did share the link with didn't I share group 12 link? If I didn't, guys, I'm sorry. I'm gonna send back the link to the group. Nicholas, I'm gonna send back the link to the group. Is any other group having problems uploading their assignments? Because I would have realized that I didn't make you guys editors, which was causing some problems, and I went through and made each group an editor. So, Nicholas, I'm gonna drop that. I'm gonna drop the link again in your group. So Dana says, will we be going through in some more detail in the next class with the guest presenter how to create ads like face? No, we're not going through how to create ads. This is an introductory program, and that's a like an intermediate level kind of thing where we go through how to actually create the ads and designing ads and stuff. So we're not doing that in this course. But the guest presenter, if I get the guest presenter, I would ask him to give you examples of ads and stuff. I would ask him Dana, but honestly, there's so much information about how to create ads online that you can literally go on Google and find for specific platforms. So say for instance, you want to create an ad for LinkedIn, Twitter, you can literally go on Google and search how to create ads for those platforms. Where's group 12? Why can't I find group 12? Group 12, where you hiding? I can't find you. It's so long you guys don't pop up on my. Can somebody from group 12 message me, send, just drop something in the group so I can find you? I'm not finding group 12 for some reason. I switched from I switched from WhatsApp business to regular WhatsApp, and so I can't label you guys anymore. And because of that, everybody's all over the place now. Ah, here we go. Thank you, Group 12. So dropping back the link again for you guys in the group. All right, guys. I will see you guys on Monday. I'm going to make sure that the uploads, you have all your uploads for this week by Friday. I was working on the uploads for Monday, and then the light went and my editor did not save any of the edits I made, and so I have to go redo it. So I will get both of them up by Friday. All right, guys, I'll see you. Should everybody submit for each group or just a selected member? What do you mean everybody submit? If everybody submit, I'm going to have 12 or 10 documents. One person just submit on behalf of the group, and that's fine. All right, guys, I will see you guys on Monday. Have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend. And let's bring the conversation over into the group chat. Somebody said that they're not in the group chat. The person who said that they're not in the group chat, can you message me, please, so I can add you? All right, guys, let me know. Okay. Okay, can you message me, please? Okay, on WhatsApp. All right, guys, I'll see you.